Yeah. Yeah. You know, I tell a story all the time that my memory has been bad forever and ever. I was a kid. I was getting dressed. I was putting on my socks, and I couldn't find my other sock. And I thought, where's my other sock? They were here before, but now there's only one. And I realized after a long time that I had put one sock over the other sock instead of putting it on. So that shows my brain not working when I was a kid. And excuse me, no. Listen, you make these troubles yourself. This is my keyboard. This is my work. This is my keyboard. So another story I tell is that I used to work in Brantford at a printer's, and the plant was right. The composing room had glass windows looking out over the plant, right? So no, I'm not attacking you. Just don't walk in front of me. Excuse me, I'm just saying don't walk in front of me. And so the plant would be right there. So when the guys went out to the coffee truck, of course we would go to the coffee truck as well if we wanted something. And so occasionally what I would do is I would go out there, I'd get a couple of things, and I'd come back in and we'd go back to work and I'd have something and I'd forget until the next day or the day after that I had another chocolate bar or whatever sitting. I'd open my desk and I'd realize, oh, look, I have a chocolate bar. It's not a big deal, but today, finished doing the dishes after my hefty supper and put everything away, dried everything, and thought, okay, now I can have a little bit of chocolate, a few squares of chocolate. And I went into the fridge and I reached up and I went, what's this? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's the score bar that I bought at the variety store yesterday and didn't have because I had supper late and then I had popcorn and I was stuffed and I didn't have the score bar. Nice surprise. Just happens to me all the time. Really bad memory. Yeah, so speaking of that kind of work, okay, now I can't talk. 11 to 1. Women's hockey, 11 to 1. They're amazing. Oh dear. Chocolate on the floor. Not good. Okay. Don't touch the chocolate, all right? No, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So this morning, I started off thinking, okay, I decided to do Canada, made the decision. How do I do it? There it is. There's the 11 to 1 one. How am I going to do this? Well, I'll lay out the provinces, the territories, match them up with ESL library stuff, and decide what I'm going to do. So I did that sort of, and I decided to start with Newfoundland and Labrador, being as it was the first province that was discovered. It wasn't the province that was, it was the first land that was discovered. So the first Europeans got there. First. I love scorbars. Can't have them too often. They're too rich. But I love scorbars. I love all the chocolate bars that I have. I just can't have too much of them. So I found that I don't have something that matches up with Newfoundland. So I decided to go with the first land that was discovered and the first Prime Minister, since I have a John A. Macdonald. So I matched those two up. I thought, okay, how am I going to do the first province at that end of the country? And I did a search for Newfoundland, and I found an Ontario Reader that was a beautiful article about Newfoundland and Labrador and its discovery. And a few years ago, it was the 500th anniversary of Newfoundland. And it was just a wonderful article. But it was I had it imported into Cork. And it had the article, and then it had wonderful questions. I thought, I will do a Google form with a true-false form, a quiz. Try that, see if that works. I was sending off crazy questions to Stephanie going, how do you do a form? I'm trying to get in for the first time after many years. and each time she didn't answer me, so I Googled it, I found something in YouTube, and I kept on asking her questions, not getting them answered, finding the answer, putting the whole thing together, importing into Google Classroom. And finally I said, I don't know if this works, Stephanie. I mean, you're gonna have to say something eventually, because I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know how to make this work. And then she said, well, send it to me. And it worked perfectly. Her and Mark, I tried it out, worked perfectly. So we tried to answer all the questions, failed horribly. Can we have the article? I just sent her the part that I was, clueless about, right? The form. I said, oh, I'm so proud of this article. I reset the whole thing. I just scanned in a horrible, well, it wasn't a horrible scan, but my students often complained about the fuzzy, because it's crap paper anyway that I scanned it from, and then they have a hard time reading. If it isn't crystal clear, they say, teacher, fuzzy, don't understand. If you speak English and read English, it's no problem. But if you don't, any little thing mystifies you. So I thought, I can't give this to them online. Fuzzy. No. So I thought, what I have to do, I have to take the page, pictures are there, I have to reset it, make a PDF, import it. And my typing hasn't been that good over the last years. Not what it was when I was in typesetting. I reset it. It took me 10 minutes, not even. I threw it together. I didn't even proofread it. I was so confident in my typing. It just was so fluid and easy. And I look back at it and it seems absolutely fine. So I took the page with the pictures, where the picture was. Over top of it, I went with I reset it in Quark, made a PDF, brought it into Google Classroom. Boom. That looks amazing. Stephanie and Mark had a fun time. I solved all my problems by myself. She said, you can use a PDF. She had told me how she would have done it, not the particular scanning in and all that stuff. She didn't do that. She wouldn't reset anything. But importing a picture, she said, you can put it together in forms and you can put the picture with the form. So I tried that and I went, doesn't work with a PDF. But the way I do it, I just have the PDF in Google Classroom and the form in Google Classroom, and that works. Google Classroom accepts PDFs, Forms does not. It's not a big deal. I'll see if it accepts JPEGs, if I ever need anything. But this is just a unique situation that I had an article on Newfoundland and Labrador that I wanted to do a true or false quiz. Perhaps, no, I can't use it. I'll have to do the same thing. Anyway. So there. Score bar eliminated. So all there is tonight is Olympics. I've already seen this game. I don't need to see it over and over again. So I'm watching what channel? 30. Is there, oh yeah, there's a 5. Is there something different on the 5? I think that's where I watched the prime time. Right, that was one that came up. Doesn't seem to be the same feed. Right now there's an ad, but it doesn't seem to be the same feed. Yeah, so there you go. I'm gonna have some ice cream because the score bar is only the chocolate. It's only the same as 2 squares of chocolate. Right. It's overly sweet. I have one of those. I bit my cheek. I have a blood. I can feel that I have one of those blood blisters inside, right? So I know that if I look in there, it's gonna be black. I like looking at those cool things. Black. They disappear. What is she? Oh, we had Speed Skater that meddled. So I imagine we're going to see that again. I did not see that. Anyway, yeah, so there you go. That's my funny story. I don't know how funny it was, but whatever.